Dan RadioStyle, hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. Does it feel like you're working really hard to manifest? It's like it's an effort, like it's sometimes tiring maybe, or frustrating and exhaustive? Does it come across sometimes as an effort, like I've got to do this or else it's not going to happen? Manifestation comes from the feeling. Manifestation is not an effort. It's not something that you do. It's how you feel that actually creates the manifestations. The techniques themselves are meant to try to get us to that point where we feel. But they're not necessarily the parts doing the action. So I've broken the way I think a lot of us come at manifesting, at least the ones that feel frustrated and tired, in a couple ways. Now, one, the effort side of it. I feel like there's just a component of it where I feel like it's the actual effort of me doing the technique that does the creation. And that if I don't keep creating, it's like I'm not hitting the wheel every day and kicking it a little bit forward. The creation actually happens the very, very first time you feel it. Now, I will say, and I've said it before, if you have doubts here and there throughout the day and you can catch your mind and focus yourself back in the right direction while it's happening, probably fine. Really, the second you felt it and really experienced it, it's on its way. But if during the day I have a hard time and sometimes question whether this can happen, I start entertaining thoughts how this isn't working. I start thinking about how there's a third party. I start entertaining the fact that someone else is going to get the job. I entertain the fact that somebody else is going to get the house before I can. If I'm in one of those places where I find myself entertaining the opposite of what I would like to experience and then getting feelings around it, then yes, it's probably a good idea to get a repetition in doing the techniques, because you're doing some damage during the day when you doubt or when you go down that path. So from that standpoint, it's going to feel like effort. Keep doing the techniques because you keep sabotaging yourself, or you can kind of try to work on some of the sabotage issues. But let's isolate where the problem is. It's not the technique. It's not all that. It's the fact that we have doubts. It's the fact that maybe we can't control our thoughts. Maybe we don't catch ourselves when we think something we shouldn't. Maybe we freak out every time we think something negative and we catch ourselves when, again, I've said before, it's okay. It's okay to have negative thoughts. All of us have negative thoughts. All of us have negative thoughts. It's so super okay, I promise. But what do you do when you have those negative thoughts? Where do you take with them? Where do you go with them? What do you do with them? Do you almost immediately start thinking something else because you're like, oh, no. Catalyst or contrast. No. Don't want that. This is what I want. Boom. Think of what I like. Or do you entertain those thoughts and then start spiraling down that path? Those will cause a lot of harm in your manifestation. The other thing where I felt like we try, where there's an effort, because again, it's try. It always makes me think of Yoda, right? Either do or don't, but try, trying doesn't do anything. Trying doesn't work. So it's either you're doing it or you're not doing it. Really no effort, and I will explain, but there's no effort in either of those paths. You're either doing it or you're not doing it. But if you're trying to do it, oh my God, all sorts of effort. So one of the reasons a lot of us try is because it's unnatural. Either A, it's super important. Either B, there's someone that we just really, really like. C, it's this thing that's just out of reach, super awesome, too hot to touch. Everyone wants it. There's some sort of asterisk next to it. Like, it has the record, but it's got an asterisk next to it. There's something about this thing that makes it so unique in our minds that we separate ourselves from it. It's now not me. It's not mine already. I separated it from me and said, no, you're super important. If you were me already, you wouldn't be super important, right? Because you have it already. Why would that feel super important? I mean, I guess, yes, it's super important. I got fingers and toes and legs and all of that. It's true. And I'm extremely grateful. But a lot of us kind of create this abnormal importance to it. And that creates separation. That creates a limitation. That creates a lack. And so you feel like you're constantly doing the efforts. I'm constantly doing the manifestations. I'm constantly doing it. Because the way I'm viewing this thing is not natural. And I need to maybe shape my beliefs. I need to maybe shape what's going on. Maybe I need to stop focusing on the obstacle that's right in front of me. But for whatever reason, I need to figure out what's going on in that avenue. Again, I don't have all your answers for you because I don't necessarily know your individual problem, but I do know that the reasons it feels like effort really is going to fall probably into one of these categories. I'm hoping if there's others, please share. I mean, I'm not perfect by any means, but 2 solid categories. It's just effort. Like the effort itself does it. Like the working, the I'm doing the technique is what does the manifesting, which it doesn't. I'm going to cover this just next, but it's not the technique itself that does the manifesting. In fact, the part that does the manifesting takes no effort at all. And the other side of it is obviously making something so important that it creates a separation, it creates a limitation, it creates a lack because I value it so much, because I don't want anyone to touch it or see it. And that's never going to get us to that place. Now, the thing that we need to consider is how manifesting works. So obviously you come up with something that you desire, or you have some form of desire that might lead you into the promised land. You have a problem, and you're like, how do I solve this problem? And desire goes, hey, if you go down this street and make a right, there's a place over there where you can make a phone call, or something crazy like that. Desires are awesome things and how they help us find answers to questions. But once you've got that desire, once you've figured out what it is that you want, in some sort of concise statement or in some sort of image that implies that your desire is fulfilled. Now, whatever your desire might be, maybe you want love. Maybe there's a specific person, then you're with that specific person. So maybe you're kind of with somebody. I can't see his face. It's okay. Maybe you're kind of hugging on him. Maybe you're dancing, right? Maybe you're at dinner and they're walking away to the restroom. You can place it in a few ways that makes it like we're there right now, and maybe you don't know exactly who they are. It can also be a job. Maybe it's a specific seat, maybe a specific office, and the view you're going to have in the corner office. But have that concise imagery that implies without any doubt, that implies with certainty that I do, in fact, have this already. Someone was saying I was celebrating my first anniversary with my wife. Awesome. Like that kind of thing. I was celebrating my anniversary with my new job. I was looking at my LinkedIn and I was seeing all the stuff go blah, blah, blah. Right? Whatever gets you to that place where you're like, yes, this is for sure happening. Once you've got that, now spend time in that. Go to a place, they say there's a few ways to do it. Goddard suggests frequently going before you go to bed and trying not to feel your body and your limbs, getting to that place before you fall asleep, but you're not quite asleep, but you're sort of asleep, but you're kind of going out there. Like if you want to do that, or just spend time imagining, getting inside your mind and imagine this scene. Imagine it with clarity. Try to walk around it, always from your perspective, but try to see who else is there. Try to look around and see who else is in the room as you're dancing, right? Try to make it real. Try to add smells. Is it catered event? Is there food? Do you see those like chafing dishes or whatever the heck they're called out there lying around? Then, make that part of your thing. Make it the fragrance. What kind of stuff? You got those crazy meatballs or what do you got? You got something better than that? That'd be awesome. You got a little ice sculpture, a little chocolate fountain. What's going on in your dream? What's in your wallet? These things make a huge difference. Now, when you get yourself believing, thinking, feeling inside of it, what it starts to do when you do that. So again, by the way, imagining is no effort. No effort. I'm just thinking, putting images in my head, thinking. But as I'm doing it, I'm starting to like kind of get into it a little bit. I'm making believe, right? I'm kind of giving it some realness. I'm pretending that right now I'm experiencing this in real life. I'm actually making believe while I'm imagining this that I have it right now. And as I do that make-believe process, I start to feel like it's actually happening. I start to feel like I actually have it. And that feeling, which again takes no effort, that feeling is the manifestation. It's almost like it goes, right? And you shoot out a big burst, a gamma burst. And that's going out and doing the creation. And really, in reality, at that point, all you need to do is go, all right, let's manifest something else now. Done with that. Because that's it. That's the effort. That's all you need to do. You just created it with the feeling. Now, the trick is that feeling that you got to, the way you felt, how you felt when you were in that moment. How was it while you were there? Because that feeling is what I've been calling your new pair of shoes. That feeling is your new consciousness. That feeling that you were experiencing while making believe, that feeling is what is creating your reality. Meaning, you need to keep that feeling present as long as possible. In fact, if you slip out of that feeling, that starts to kind of take away some of the things that you get from that feeling. As you push yourself back up into that, I've already got it, everything's working out, this is awesome, my life always works out. As you start to push yourself up into this vibrational winner kind of feeling where everything tends to work out for me, your energy starts to vibe to that higher consciousness. As you hold that higher consciousness, it begins to become normal. As it becomes normal, it becomes your new reality. That is what condenses everything into play. It's all about getting to that energy and staying there at least well over 50% of the time. Okay, over 50% of the time. But being in that energy is what does the work. So again, no effort. As I move through my day, it's just that reminder throughout the day that this job is mine. This individual and I are together. I can feel her now in my own heart. I can feel him now, right now in my own heart. I can imagine and feel his lips on mine or her lips on mine. I can feel that. Or I can see myself sitting in that desk, in that chair, looking out the window at the building across the way. I can see that. I can feel it. I can look out the window and see the people that are outside my office waiting for the conference call that we've got. And how excited I am in my new place, in my new life. And with your person that you're hanging with, if that's a specific person, it's not so much that you feel love. That's not it. You always will love each other. That's not the feeling. That's not the consciousness. It's the we're together. And what does that imply? What feels different? Is it the confidence that you have that this is your partner? Is it the fact that every day when you come home, you're smelling food and that's part of what you love? Is it the fact that you've got little munchkins running around and that's exciting about having a relationship? Is it exciting that you've now got someone to text on a regular basis? Get into why and what it feels like and what it means to have what you desire already. I think in the case of specific people, a lot of people feel like, oh, well, I feel love for them. That should do it. And it's like, no, it's not the feeling of the love. It's the feeling of being together, of the reality where together is you and them, and it is real. You've imagined it. You've made believe. And that making believe creates the place. That place is now created. And then the fish gets pushed out, and that creates kind of the effect, the stepping stones. As Goddard talks about, it's going to be from that moment forward, a number of successions will come towards you. He talks about a serialized universe, how things tend to lead from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next. Moment by moment by moment, we tend to experience life. So if it's an effort, look at why you feel like it's an effort. And try to understand what manifesting really is, simplified. There's a bunch of techniques out there. They all use these core ingredients. Maybe they phrase it slightly differently, but ultimately they're trying to get you to a place where you feel like you have it already, where you're imagining it and envisioning it. And from that place comes success. And if you have some issues along the way, we got affirmations, we got Ho'oponopono, we got all these different cool things you can try to do to get through your day. But ultimately, it comes down to creating the thing and brushing your hands and moving on to the next thing that you're creating. Don't make it so important that nothing else exists until it happens. Again, separation. No, I've got this. It's happening. Okay, now what? Because I've got it already. Again, if you have it already, are you still trying to get it? That's the problem. You don't get that you got it already. If you try again tomorrow, or if you're having problems throughout the day where you doubt it, it's because you don't realize you've got it already. In which case, your consciousness is definitely not where it needs to be. You need to get your consciousness back up to the place where you have your desire, you're with your person, you're with your job, you're in your new house. You've got it all ready. And the big difference between noticing what's going on in your reality right now and deciding that's how my future is, or realizing that this is what's going on in my life right now, cool, but in my mind, in my higher senses, I'm deciding what tomorrow is going to be. Your dreams are just in front of you, always just in front of you. Keep stepping forward. Keep making those steps. Keep realizing you've got it already. And it crystallizes. It is right now yours and happening. Dan RadioStyle.